What's up, everybody? Can I ask you guys a question? Do mice have magical powers?
Why do
Yes.
you
Okay.
ask?
Well, because the mouse, okay, uh, he was first in the laundry room. We chased him into the laundry room. Oh, Cody chased him into the laundry room. I was trying to save the mouse. The mouse is unaware that I am trying to save it. And so I thought I was able to contain it in the laundry room. It got out of the laundry room, and then it winds up in our office. In the desk, which is connected on the other, it's on the other side of the entertainment center where the mouse was sort of staying. We chased him into the living room. I had a little shoe out. I was trying to get him into the shoe. He seemed to disappear into my shoe, but he wasn't there. I discovered that he somehow crawled into this little trash can that we have right outside the kitchen, but he's in the gears of the trash can, so I can't get him out. So what I do is I take the trash can outside and I open the recycling receptacle and I put it in there and I shut the lid and I went back early this morning because I figured he can't get out of there, but he'll get out and he'll roam around that the inside of the trash can. He won't be able to get out. I'll let him out in the morning. I search through the garbage can in the morning, not there. I take the little garbage can out to this little area where I think it'll be a place where he'll go into and he'll get lost and he won't be able to come back at least, but he'll have a fun time in the wild, if that's even possible for a mouse. But he's not there. He's nowhere to be found. Now I don't know if he slipped out as I was taking him outside. If he's still in the house, I have no idea. He hasn't shown his little furry face for the last 24 hours. I'm a little concerned, but I don't want him here if the exterminator comes today and starts laying traps. I don't want this guy to be killed. I've been doing everything in my power over the last 24 hours to save this bastard, his cute little bastard, and he doesn't seem to know it. So, anyway, he disappeared in my shoe and was not there. That's magical. He reappears everywhere, all over the house. And I think it's the same mouse. It's not like several different mice. This is the same mouse. He goes from being outside of the desk to inside of the desk. I see no entry point from anywhere outside the desk so that he can get in there. It's just that suddenly there he is. I open the cupboard. Cody runs in there. The mouse is there. How the fuck did he get there? This is the question. Anyway, I don't know. The mouse saga continues. I'll keep you updated and hopefully I'll be able to post something really cute where I'm saving the mouse again, but maybe taking him 5 miles away from my house so he can invade somebody else's house. So guys, this is a Q and A just like the con. So if you have any questions, comments or concerns about anything, uh uh please ask your question. Maybe I have an answer. Maybe I don't. Maybe Persephone has all the answers and I'll just refer to her. But if you have questions, go ahead. I will take any questions. I am unafraid to answer any question. I know I'm putting myself in a potentially dangerous spot by saying that, but I don't give a fuck. How's that?
Now that you've wrapped filming on Vought Rising, can you tell us anything about the vibe of the 1950s version of the boys' universe?
I don't know that I can say much other than it combines real historical characters and real historical movements with the Vought universe. The more I read about my character, the more I actually liked him, to be honest with you. So, which is good since, if you're playing somebody who is quote unquote a villain in a story, you do want to get morally behind what they're doing because they don't know they're the villain of the story, right? They think they're doing good. Most bad guys do, or they think that, yeah, they think in some level what they're doing is good, right? So they get behind themselves. So you have to get behind them. I didn't really have any trouble getting behind this guy. Of course, you're going to see me saying things that are like, what? Pellegrino would never say that. But of course, I would never say pretty much anything any of my characters say. When anybody ever asks me, like, what parts are you like your characters in any way? I say, no, I'm unlike pretty much every character I ever play. I do find elements in the characters that become main points for me. I don't know if they're the main point of the character or the writer's intention that I can relate to. So in a sense, the character becomes me and I become the character, but I am not like Lucifer. I am not like the character I'm playing on Vought Rising. I'm not any of the like Paul Bennett from Dexter. I'm none of those guys. None of those guys. One day I might get a part that conforms with my character and the real guy who I am, and then it won't be like work. It'll be easy. It'll be like a walk in the park, and that'll be nice.
My
Who's
question had to do with Vault Rising too. Are you allowed to tell us who your character is?
No, I can't tell you who my
Darn it, why
character
not?
is.
We
For the
wouldn't
love of
tell
fucking
anybody.
Christ. Because it would fuck everything up. Yes, you would. I fucking
No, it
know
wouldn't.
you. It would
No,
be
it wouldn't.
you've got loose lips, chick. It would be
No, I
out of
do
your
not.
mouth. Yes,
No, I do
yes.
not.
You'd slip it to Logan, and then Logan, the pinhead, would slip
Well,
it to
I mean,
somebody else, and
Logan's
then
right there, but
it would be all over fucking Illinois in 10 seconds, and then it would spread from there and metastasize like a tumor across the United States, and then I'd be fucked. No, you can't learn who you only know who my character is when it is released or when they give me permission to say who I am.
Hi again.
Hello.
My question was already answered because I had the same one as Lou has, but it's always great talking to you.
Yeah, Vought Rising, guys. I think it's going to be good. I'm hoping that it gets renewed for a season two. Now, do you guys like
hi.
it better with just the beard, or do you like the old mustache that makes me look like I'm 1,000 years old? Persephone, you like the mustache, or you like it better now? Oh, really? Okay. Fuck.
I like I like it if it looks a little bit scruffy on you.
Yeah, a little scruff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, my kind of answer, a question was already answered because it was also about Vought Rising, but I'm not gonna ask that because you can't say anything, and I don't want to get in trouble with since you signed the NDA. So do you have any upcoming project, or are you just currently on a break?
I don't think I'm ever on a break. I mean, I started a little film with these friends from jujitsu, and then I had to take that 6 month break to do Vought Rising. And so now I might finish the shooting on it on Wednesday, which reminds me, Persephone, it means I might be working Wednesday morning, and poor Michael is going to be stranded again on Capitalist Corner. I'm still not sure yet if that call time is final yet, so I'll keep you guys posted. I don't remember the title of that project though, because it's been 6 months. Forgive me, it's been 6 fucking months. But it is pretty good. I've seen a couple of scenes. I see playback. Whenever I work, I try to get playback so I can get immediate feedback on my scenes. And luckily, we have video cameras that can enable that. I did that on Vought Rising too. As often as I could, I get playback. And it looks pretty good. It might be a good little film. Hopefully, it's good for my jujitsu buddies because one of my friends is trying to break into the business, and he's my friend. He's my part of my jujitsu family. And when he asked me to do a project, I said, sure, why not? I always say, sure, why not to my friends. Doesn't make me any
Cool.
richer. Well, it does. It does spiritually. It doesn't materially uh, feed me yet, unless one of my friends becomes a huge producer, which would be nice.
And I have a second part. Since I'm going to Paris end of June to go to a convention.
What convention is this? Is this the PeopleCon?
Yes.
Why in the fuck aren't they invited? I'm going to be in Paris. I'm going to, well, I guess I'm doing one in mid-April now, so they can't invite me.
Oh man, because that was actually my question, if you're coming or if there's any chance.
Well,
Uh,
so no, so
clash.
I'm going to be in Paris. I leave April 7th for Paris, unless another job interferes, and I'm up for two jobs, both of which look very good, like very good possibilities. One shoots in Toronto, the other shoots in Chicago. If I don't do that, I leave on the 7th, and I think the next weekend is the Paris Comic Con. And the only
Yeah,
reason I'm going is because Jared was going, and I'm like, what the fuck? I talked to my representatives. I'm like, Jared's going. Look, they don't even have to fly me out. They don't have to put me up. I got a place in Paris. Why don't they fucking invite me? It's like a win-win situation for everybody, unless people amass at my
exactly.
table and protest me for being, whatever they think I am. But so they agreed. They're like, yeah, come on out. So I probably fucked myself in June to be there in April. But in May, I'm sorry, Persephone, it's just the way I talk. In May, I will be in Austria. So why don't you come to Austria and say hello?
Oh,
Coming to Austria, I'm coming to see you. Only you. Not that other dude from Supernatural. I don't know that guy.
Who is it? Who is it?
Jake Abel. I don't.
Who? Who?
Jake. He played Michael.
Who?
Oh,
Who?
never mind him. I'm only here for
No,
you.
he's a great guy. He's a great guy. I love Jake. So
I know,
just
but I'm
busting his balls.
only coming to Austria for you.
Of course,
Oh.
everybody's going to Austria for me. Nobody's going there to see Jake. I'm kidding. Not true. He does a great thing on the side too, where he talks about film, and apparently he knows
Katrin
a
is
lot
coming
about
too.
film.
So we're both
Who is?
We're both Katrin.
Oh yeah, good. So like half part of the gang will be there. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a good time. Well, Tracy is going to be in Vienna, but she's going to be location scouting. Probably most of the time, she's going to be location scouting most of the time while I'm at the con. It's debatable. I don't know whether she's going to bring Ziggy or not yet. Her dog, who's sort of cute, I have to fucking admit, but I'm partial to almost all furry things. I have a picture of him here that is driving me a little bit nuts in a good way, that she sent me
Even
today.
to mice?
I am. Yeah, I am. If I were on Naked and Afraid, let's just put it this way. I can't watch Naked and Afraid because they kill furry things. If I were on Naked Persephone, if I were on Naked and Afraid, I would not be able to kill any of the furry things. Even if I were starving to death. Now I know people are like, bullshit. If you're starving enough, you'd probably eat Frankie. Nope. I wouldn't be able to do it. So I can't kill furry things. I did kill a furry thing once because we hit it with a car and it was suffering and dying. So I did put it out of its misery when I was about 19 years old. That was a terrible thing, and it affected me for months afterwards. But I felt like I had to do it because I wasn't going to let it suffer. Yeah, I mean, if you have a pet, I made the mistake when I was 16 of not going into the room when my cat was euthanized when I was 16. I made a promise to myself never to do that again, because I still remember him to this day being carried off. His face was over the vet tech's shoulder and his eyes were big, and I knew he was scared, but I loved him so much. I just didn't think I could handle being in the room with him. But the guilt of doing that and leaving him alone and thinking about, in hindsight, as I got older, thinking about how he was in a room alone with strangers for the last few moments of his life just fucking destroyed me. And that's why I made a commitment to myself that with Frankie, especially, that I would not be gone when he was, if something were to happen to him, that I would be by his side. And the last images that I have of him are him taking his last breath and me holding him very, very close. So I was good to my promise to him, and I will be that way for every animal that I can be. We've had a few animals pass while we were gone, while I was away on location. Johnny passed while I was gone, which I didn't want to happen, but that happened. And Cody's getting up there. He's 14, and I'm about to leave for about 60 days. And I'm taking him to my stepdaughter's house, and he's going to have a little kitten there to play with. And he knows Tess, but I'm still nervous that, something could happen to him in that amount of time, which I don't want to have happen to him. And so I've made the commitment to him that he better not pass away on my watch. And if he does, I got to be there with him, because we're like fucking great friends now. I mean, we've always been like, he's always been like a little brother to me. Like, we just play and have fun. And I'm the guy he focuses on whenever we're all here. I'm his guy. But now it's even more so because we were hunting mice together for the last 3 days. So it's like now he comes up to me and we have this familiarity with each other that wasn't even there before. It's like he's guarding the house. I'm helping him guard the house. We're like buddies in arms now in a way like we weren't before. And I can see it in the way he looks at me and the way he meows at me, that something has shifted in a really cool way in our relationship. I hope it's just not me projecting on little Cody, because he is a cunt too. So it could be like, something else entirely going on. But I'm becoming such good friends with him now. And he's helped me with Frankie. I I think I told you guys that he hugged me when Frankie passed. And he's been giving me love. It's not the same as Frankie sleeping with me, to have Cody sleeping with, because Cody likes to be sort of, sometimes he's up in my grill. A lot of times he likes to sleep at the foot of the bed or somewhere on the bed or on the chair here where I'm sitting. He likes to sit right here where he often does when I'm doing shows. So he likes a little bit of distance, and he gets a little uncomfortable when I drag him in and just smother him in kisses and, squeeze him. And when Frankie liked that stuff, and Frankie liked to spoon and be right up on me. So it's not quite the same, but it's close. And so, my love for Cody has grown, partly because I'm displacing love for Frankie onto him, but I really don't want anything bad to happen to him while I'm gone. Because I really don't think my stepdaughter can handle it, to be honest with you. I think she let her last dog. This is probably too much information for everybody, so I think she let her dad take her dog into the vet to have it euthanized when it was really sick. And I get it. Some people just can't handle that shit, but
I
I
think she
don't
was
like,
here, Kiana.
huh? No,
She
it's
was
not
here.
Kiana. It's Tess.
Oh,
Tess is my
okay.
stepdaughter. Kiana's my voluntary family.
Okay, gotcha.
Kiana's my adopted daughter voluntarily. We chose each other. She's an amazing kid. Love her. She's awesome, super smart, very talented. Tess is my wife's daughter, whom I love too. But I married into that family,
Okay.
so she's the one who will be watching over Cody. Now, it would be great if Kiana could stay here for 60 days and manage the house. I'd feel very good about that, but I don't think that's possible. She
Okay,
lives in
thank you.
Killeen, Texas, for crying out loud, which is the other
Oh,
side of
wow.
hell. The other side of hell.
Not really hell. You know how hell is? You've been there.
What?
You've been to hell.
I've been to what?
Hell.
Yes, I have.
Okay, bye.
It's called My First Girlfriend. Oh boy, do I have stories. Who's next? I'm not afraid of anything.
I think it's me because I'm unmuted. Thanks for hanging out with me in Lafayette. I had a blast.
It was
That
fun,
was
right?
so fun. It was so fun.
Yeah.
So my question, I apologize if this has been asked before, but on the set
Every
of
question has been
Supernatural,
asked before. It's okay.
on the set of Supernatural, was there a lot of discussion on how you would portray Lucifer? Was it just all your interpretation? Did you play him? It was all your interpretation. So, okay.
Yeah. No, I
Loved
mean,
it. Yeah.
90% of a director's work is in the casting. So I'm sort of happy that now they have excuse me, I'm burping. So that now they have an award for casting in the Academy Awards. I think that's really good because that is an art in and of itself, and it's 90% of the work, to be honest with you. The director, casts through the casting process, they find the right person for the part, and then usually the good directors let you go. They let you go do your thing. So sometimes they adjust performance here and there if they have a longer term vision, or they know they know the way a shot looks. You don't have the same perspective, so they'll give you some feedback because they know what it's looking like. You can't tell because you're in the middle of it, and so that can be very helpful. But for the most part, they leave you alone to do your stuff. And so I got hired based on my previous work, I guess, because I didn't have to audition for it. And I rarely ever got a note. But when I did, it was good stuff, usually action oriented. Phil Scrigici actually has really good notes. I really liked him, especially on Vought Rising, because every time he made a suggestion, it made the scene way better. And it was very unencumbered direction, too. A lot of directors like to give you, results, and which gets the actor in their head about achieving something, which is not the way human beings really work when they're in the middle of something. You know what I mean? You're not, and you just have to be, you have to be action oriented, not necessarily focused on your goal. You have to be action oriented. I know that may seem paradoxical to some folks here, but it's not. I can explain it later. But Phil was always very action oriented and very clear in his direction. He always made the scene better. And whenever he spoke up and directed in Supernatural, which was rare, it always made the scene better because he's an editor, he's a director, he was one of the executive producers of Supernatural. He was on Revolution. He's on all of Kripke's stuff. He's sort of the man behind the scenes, right? He's the like main guy behind the scenes who really, really has an eye for the project and really, really he's editing it. He sees edits in his head. So he knows all the shots he's doing, how it's all going to flow together. And so I like listening to him. But yeah, casting is where it's done, man. It's all done in casting and they leave you alone for the most part. If they don't, you should probably leave the show or you're not right for the part, right?
So you didn't have to audition for Supernatural, but you did for Vought Rising? Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I was told that I auditioned against everybody I've ever auditioned against in my entire career for that part. And
Okay.
which is crazy. It shows that like actors who have been around for a long time are simply not working right now. The playing field is just so different now. The demographics that they're looking for are just so different now that a lot of people who were working all the time are no longer working. My friend Dietrich Bader, who I just did the con with that I was at last time. Wait, yeah, Dietrich was at
In
Louisiana.
Lafayette? Yeah.
Yeah, did you see him? Did you see him there? Do you know
Yeah,
who he
I mean,
is?
I didn't talk to him.
But
My
you know
goal
who he
was to
is.
come talk to you, but I know who he is. Yeah.
He's not working. And he did nothing but work from like the 90s on. This guy was a regular on tons of shows. He's a good actor. And we worked in a movie together called Certain Guys back in the mid 90s. We haven't seen each other since. But we had great conversation. And he's doing these cons now because he's not working. And one of the reasons the cons are so populated now and difficult to get into is because nobody's working. So my ears clogged up.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Oh, it's
Hi,
like
Mark.
everybody
It's
just comes.
Sandra.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah. Aside from having a congested ear, which you see me trying to pop sometimes, and a vicious cough, a violent virus that I got from Pensacola, Florida.
Well, must get better soon. I'm
Thank
fighting my allergies, so I'm not far away from sneezing again as well.
All
Anyway,
right. Keep your microphone on if you sneeze.
better not. It's too loud.
No, not as
No.
loud as my wife. My wife sneezes louder than I think anybody on the planet.
Well, we'll see. Okay, my question is, you once recommended a quote unquote particular translation of Ibsen's Enemy of the People. And
Yeah.
I was wondering if there's a chance you could still find out which one it is or describe it.
I'm trying to see if it's back here in this particular bookshelf. I have lots of bookcases around.
Doesn't have to be now. Maybe you can DM me later on Patreon.
You're interested in reading it, my translation of it, the translation I like?
Exactly.
Let me see if I can find it real quick. Hey, Persephone, you have there's a purchase history on Amazon, right? Enemy. She's probably like, why are yes, hello. Enemy of the People, the play. Let me see if it has my purchase history on here. Oh, for the love of fuck. I see every translation but this one. Let me throw this out to my buddy. Hold on. Kirk. Oh, fuck me. Sorry. There we go. Do you remember who translated the Enemy of the People version that we did at Austin Shakespeare Festival? Can you give me that author's name? Thank you. Hopefully he'll give me an answer.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I don't see the book anywhere. If I do happen to see it, I'll put it up here for you to peruse.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes. What's up?
Oh, it's my turn.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yes, Mark, you ask us questions, but we're all muted. We can't exactly answer your questions when you ask us.
Okay. Is that Allie?
Yeah.
I don't see you anywhere in the gallery for some reason.
My Zoom's having a hard time. I couldn't even find the raise hand button, but I eventually found it. I think my Zoom is outdated.
You're totally tech savvy though.
I just re-downloaded Zoom yesterday, so I probably downloaded the older version. I have to update it.
Okay. I see that you
Sorry.
did say I do have a purchase history here, so
You have to go to the year you purchased it,
oh boy.
and it'll tell you.
Lou will have to tell me when were we there, Lou? I mean, Johnny was still alive, so was that 2023? 2022? Because you were there.
Yeah, I will look it up.
Oh, thanks. We'll find that. We're going to get this answer before the night is through.
Okay.
Otherwise,
So
go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
So you were recommending me books, and I actually did finish the three body problem. I was wondering if you finished it.
Yes, I did.
Did you like the ending?
It's sort of problematic. The whole thing was a little problematic to me.
A little, because you had like all kinds of communist agendas in there, like from different communist factions is the easiest way to put it. But even the Tristellarians were communist too. I
They're
thought it was
commies.
pretty funny. Yeah, and they're the aliens from the Alpha Centauri A and B, but I liked the concept of the book, but I just felt like the ending was a bit abrupt. And I don't know if there's another book following it, but
There's three. So
there's three.
Yeah, there's three. Hold on. I can answer this question because I have the tomes immediately within my possession. So hold on.
Okay.
Oh, for the love of fucking God.
What happened?
I just have to dig through a skyscraper of books. So this this is the second one.
Okay.
The Dark Forest. So this is a continuation from I've started it. The third one is a rather intimidating book. Look at the size of this fucking thing. This is Death's End.
Okay.
So I have a feeling I know how it ends because I think I've seen. Why am I saying I think I've seen as if I'm not sure whether or not I've seen sort of where it's going. So I already know. And I've started watching the TV show.
Okay. Is it different from the books?
No. But you know how they have to abbreviate things in film and TV sometimes where they can go into a great deal of detail. And this is a story that needs to go into detail because there's a lot of physics issues going on, right, with respect to time and space, and you have to grapple with these things at the same time that the characters are grappling with them, and we not being physicists or astrophysicists have to grapple with them even more. And so it's a lot of the book is sort of explanatory in that respect, and I don't think you get that so much in film, so they have to make that cinematic by truncating a lot of stuff So they do truncate stuff. I've only gotten about 15 minutes into the first episode, but I'm really on the fence about this whole project, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
because the motivation of one of the main characters was what? I mean, she experienced the Cultural Revolution in China. It's super good at pointing out how vicious and gross and brutal that revolution was, and how arbitrary, right? And what it did to people. But it created this deep cynicism on the part of one of the main characters about humanity. And so she basically betrays humanity to this alien nation that she thinks will come and purify the world. I mean, that's exactly the kind of language that Mao and Lenin would use, or Robespierre, any violent revolutionary. So to me, you'd think that somebody who came from this deep communist background, the last thing she would want would to be a revolutionary that would try to remake mankind the way Mao tried to remake mankind. You'd think her mind would be bent in a different direction, but it isn't. So it's like the solution is going from the frying pan to the fire. Really?
Yeah.
And do you think, I don't know anything about photons and unfolding of photons and the way they try to put the glitch in the scientific discovery. It seemed a little contrived, but I sort of bought it just because it's part of the motif.
When I was reading it, it felt like they were describing kaleidoscope because you remember the flag waving thing with the motion sensors and all that. It felt like a kaleidoscope that when you see into it move it around. That's what
The
it looked like.
photons?
Yeah, no, well,
What are they
when they
called?
were,
The particle that you can unfold in space.
yeah, there was sophons.
That's right. And it's supposed to be an intelligent thing. So it actually works, does mischief in our world, right? It's supposed to be,
Yes.
it's supposed to be, it feels like part of this book was a reaction to a lot of observations that quantum physicists are making that seem contradictory to, the laws of identity and logic. So they say a particle can be at two places at the same time. That's a violation of the law of identity. We don't know anything in reality that can do that, but in particle physics, they're claiming these types of things, or that, these particles move when you're not watching them, all that stuff. Well, now we understand that this is just really the Trisolarians fucking with us.
Yeah, that's what the countdown thing was.
Yeah.
And did it go into more of the countdown thing in the book too? Because I know there's got to be something with that. It just because the ending it gave it away.
A little bit. I mean, the people who are in contact with the Trisolarian, for everybody, we're talking technical talk with respect to this book. If you haven't read it, I think that the countdown is only visible to people who are communicating with the Trisolarians.
Okay.
And so it's some kind of, it's that particle they're communicating somehow through that fucking unfolded particle thing, which is
the sophons.
Yeah.
The translator note said it was a play on words with proton and neutron, I do believe.
That makes sense.
Note.
Yeah, so they're communicating through that, and so that timestamp is everywhere in the eyesight of anybody who's in direct communication with a Trisolarian. And they definitely have more direct communication in the second book. I mean, I'm only about 50 pages in, but there's a lot of interstellar, I guess, communication going on between the two of them, and it's instantaneous because the Trisolarians can communicate without words. So they communicate by thoughts. Like they think language is rudimentary and totally primitive. But the good thing about that, which you don't know yet, but you'll find out in book 2, is that the Trisolarians can't lie.
Okay, awesome. All right, thank you so much.
All their thoughts are transparent. So I'm thinking they're trying to build up the fact that our ability to deceive each other is actually a strength and may serve as a weapon when the Trisolarians actually invade.
That's what the locust example was for, because no matter how many pesticides you use on a locust, they always find a way to survive. So if you try to kill humankind, it's always going to come back and find a way to thrive.
Yeah, that's because we're smart.
Sure.
All right, good luck. Let me know if you start on the second book.
Will do. Thank you.
Yeah. So many people so many people I know have started the three body problem, have simply not been able to finish the book, or they stick with it only because they're supposed to. And because, once you start a book, you can't just fucking set it down. And that's sort of the way I was with the book. I started it and I'm like, it's not really that great. Why did it win like the New York Times bestseller? It's not that great of a book. But I stuck with it because, I thought I had to once I started. Who's next on the agenda?
I think it's me. Can everyone hear me?
Yes. Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Oh my God. Sorry, I'm nervous. Okay, I have a
Don't be
question.
nervous. Don't be nervous. We all bite.
Oh no.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, I love Paul Bennett in Dexter. I think you did awesome job. I love him. He's so perfect. But yeah,
Wow, you're the
I
first.
remember.
You're the first person who's ever said Paul Bennett is perfect.
Really?
Yes.
Oh no, I think he's very sweet when he's not.
When he's not drunk.
Yeah, but I remember that you have said that even when you play a bad character, you have to like believe that they're not bad, that you sort of try to understand them. So I'm curious, what did you think when you were playing as Paul? Like, what did you tell yourself about him that would make it right, or at least something like that?
I told myself what the script told me. The script told me that Paul was trying to reform himself, trying to reunite his family, trying to be a good father, and trying to get in the good graces of his wife, his ex-wife. So those are all great things. Those are virtues that I could get behind as a human being. The problem is there's another man in the picture. And I think I only have to draw on my experience of other men breaking up families. I've experienced that in my life to understand where Paul Bennett's coming from and his paranoia, not paranoia, because that's irrational, but his fear that this new man in the lives of his children will be a really dangerous thing. He suspects, Dexter, as the not just because he's an outsider, but I think he has an intuitive sense for those kinds of things. So, look, a guy who's trying to get his family together and who's trying to foil essentially a usurper in his family life. Stepdads are notoriously bad and dangerous for most, and or just men who come into the lives of women who have kids. They can be a terrible, terrible introduction, right, for these kids. And it's natural for a father to be guarded about a new person entering the family. So all the things I was going for, family, sobriety, reinvigorating my relationship with my wife, being a better dad, being a protector of the household, all those are virtues that I could get behind. I think that's what Paul was going for. But, the writers and the words that you say and the actions that they have you do will cause the audience to decide whether or not the way I'm going for what I'm going for is good or bad, right? So most people decide that the way Paul was trying to reunite his family and get back together with his wife was inappropriate. So all I do is just I give myself the moral reasoning behind it, and I let myself ride the wave of whatever the writers have set out for me, and it takes care of itself because you're drawing all the conclusions for me. Right? The audience sits there and they suspend disbelief, and there's very little work the actor really has to do. And that's one thing young actors don't understand, that's why they work so fucking hard to try to convince the audience. You don't really have to work that hard. The audience is already 75% of the way there. You just have to coax them a little bit. But I appreciate the fact that you're the only person on the planet that loves Paul Bennett. Everybody else
I love him.
Everybody else thought he was an asshole.
Well, he can be asshole, but everyone can be like that sometimes. So I think it's just normal, and I like that he's not perfect or anything like he always does only the right things like that. I like that he's a complex character. Like I think that even though he has done some bad things, he's still like sometimes when I look at him, I'm like, oh no, I just want to comfort him or something. Like I feel
Aw.
bad for him sometimes.
Now imagine, now that's all Paul needed. If his
Yeah,
wife,
I think so
if
too.
Rita would have given him a little hug and said, "I
Yeah.
understand, honey," there would have been no show.
Yeah, I know. I think Rita was too hard on him.
Yes, she was. And that's
Yeah.
why she ended up dismembered in her bathtub.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's somebody
Yeah.
had to say it. Somebody had to say it.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what
Yeah.
happens to women raising a family single-handedly when they bring a strange man into their house.
Yeah, and Dexter isn't innocent either.
No, he's a bad boy. He's a very bad man.
Yeah, but he's not even. Yeah,
He's
like
not. He's not.
you go first.
No, you go.
Yeah, I think like Paul was at least upfront about what he's like. Like he didn't pretend to be some kind of angel, unlike Dexter. Dexter is
Right.
like,
I
he
think
tries to be like, I'm
unfortunately,
normal.
Unfortunately, I think it's because Paul wasn't smart enough to do that, to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
if he could play it off with the grace that Dexter did, he would. But if that were the case, he wouldn't be, you know, a small time drug abusing, wife beating, children abandoning criminal
Yeah.
like he was.
Yeah. But I think he had lots of potential, but he just like couldn't get to show it because what happened to him.
Because he didn't have the tools to deal with Rita's rejection of him. He thought, like a lot of narcissists and dry drunks, you know, addicts that are reformed and they're on the program, but they're not really changing their narcissism. I think he thought once he pranced into this world, Dorita's world again, and showed that he was changed and that he wanted to be a good man, that everything was going to work in his favor. That's a magical thinking, you know, kind of guy. And that's why Paul wound up the way he was. It just didn't work out that way. And that's why Paul was unable to deal with it, you know, and became unhinged after a while and got drunk and then tried to rape his wife, which that's not a very healthy thing to do, I have to say.
But
Probably
I think,
one. Go ahead.
Yeah, you say. You can say first, of course.
No, you go. You go.
I think he was sweet because he didn't want to.
He just wanted sex.
No, I don't mean that.
Oh.
I mean, he didn't want to just like be like, okay, Rita doesn't want to be with me anymore. Okay, I give up. Like he didn't want to give up. He wanted to try.
He wanted to rape her. Yeah, he wanted to keep going.
No,
Oh.
I don't mean that. I just mean that he wasn't just going to let her go. He was romantic in the sense. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, maybe, you know, okay. I mean, I don't consider like being abusive and then, you know, laying on top of her and trying to rape her when you're hammered, you know, necessarily romantic or stifled
And maybe
romanticism.
not that. Yeah. But he was like, he wasn't going to just give up. Like,
that's true.
He wanted to try with the kids and also with Rita. And he wasn't just like, okay, I'm just going to walk away. He wasn't like that. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you appreciating Paul. And if Paul were here with his helmet hair, he would say, finally, somebody who sees me. And then it might be you and Paul walking off the sunset together, hand in hand, and not Rita.
I wouldn't complain about it. Yeah,
By the way,
thank you very much.
Thank you. By the way, Julie and I got along very well. She was really sweet. And I'm actually trying to convince her Krav Maga teacher to bring her into to Jean-Jacques Machado Jiu-Jitsu so that the Bennett family can be reunited in a little mat rolling ceremony.
Maybe Rita gave us like kicks Paul's ass this time.
No, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to allow that to happen. But it would be great to see them, to see us on the mat together. There would be a great photo opportunity, I think, for Jean-Jacques Machado Academy to see the Bennett family reunited again, right?
Yes.
Come on. Her Krav Maga teacher is first or second degree black belt at John Jacques Machado's. He's really good.
Oh, I didn't know. That's cool.
She's in good hands. Oh, look at
Yes,
the
thank
baby
you.
bear. Oh, look at the baby bear. Oh, look at the baby bear, bear. Look at that
Yeah.
face. Look at those big, soulful brown eyes.
It's the eyes of the most annoying creature in the world.
No. You say that now, but it's such a beautiful annoyance.
Yeah. 27 kilograms sitting directly on top of you while you're trying to
Yes.
sleep. It's great.
I love it. Nothing better in the world.
Okay, also, I'm sorry, Virgil and GIF were both cool, but Paul sucked. No offense.
Right? Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, almost everybody except for Yuri. And this is a good thing, Yuri. I don't want to call you out like it's a bad thing. But most people say you were great as Paul Bennett. He was an asshole. Like universally, Paul Bennett gets the asshole treatment.
Yeah, I mean, GIF was an asshole too, but
Charming,
yeah, in a fun way.
poetic, like
Paul
to hear
was
himself talk.
Paul was an asshole, like in a way that you just wanted him to go away. But that wasn't that wasn't my question. My question was, do you have a favorite fighter, or is there someone that you would like to fight? Like
A favorite fighter.
in a fun way, not in a like I want to punch this person way.
Oh, because if it's a legit fighter, I mean, at my age especially, I would get fucking by an elite fighter, I would get fucking smashed. But yeah, I mean, one of my favorite fighters of all time, and this may sound really lame because it's sort of typical, is Muhammad Ali. One of the reasons I love Muhammad Ali was not only because he was a heavyweight who fought like a welterweight, right? This is a guy who's 212 pounds. I mean, now heavyweights are 265 pounds. They're just giants. And I don't know how he would last in a field of heavyweights that are really super heavyweights and just phenomenal athletes. But at the time, he fought like a welterweight. He headhunted, which means he almost never went to the body. If you watch his fights, which is it's like rule number one. Like you just don't do. You got to go up and you got to go down. Like you got to mix it up, mix to the body, go to the head. That's just the way you box, right? That's how you get people worn down. That's how you beat them up nice. But he would always go to the head, and he had an amazing accuracy. He could fight backing up, which was also a faux pas. He did a lot of things that were just unconventional and his own style. And on top of that, he was an icon. You know, he talked a bunch of shit in a day and age when a black man wasn't supposed to be talking that kind of shit. And he did. He thumbed his nose at the faces of the establishment. And unlike Johnson, who did the same thing as a fighter back in the late 19th, early 20th century, he won. I mean, he is responsible for why athletic purses are so huge today. So he was not only an icon in a sort of a moral sense, in that he stood for what he believed in. He was defiant against arbitrary authority. He was smart and savvy, witty, interesting. He also fought unconventionally because he didn't fight by the rules. He didn't pick up somebody else's style and make it his own. He had his own style, and he invented a bunch of stuff in the boxing ring that nobody had done previously. Now, who would I fight today? I mean, just for the experience, I would because here's what I'm thinking. Like, the reason I say yes and then no is because I think for a second about what it would be like to get on the mat with like one of these elite guys, like a Khabib, for example, and it would be fucking hell. Now he's way smaller than me. That's the only advantage I have, but he's so fucking knowledgeable and so strong. He's a Dagestani wrestler. And so he's just a fucking beast. But I kind of would like to feel him out a little bit and see what that's like, because he's a legend. I really admire him too. I think he's a mensch in a lot of ways. I'd like to see what it's like with him. Or you know who is also awesome? One of the best fighters in the world, Mighty Mouse. You know Mighty Mouse? the guy who played not Mighty Mouse, the cartoon, but what's his face, the featherweight champion of the UFC, who was like he was like undefeated, and now he's doing grappling. He does all kinds of mixed martial arts. He's still nobody can beat this guy. He's like 118 pounds, soaking wet, and he's fucking Demetrius Johnson. That's his name. That guy is one of the most gnarly motherfuckers on the planet. I would love to be beat up by him because he's only 120 pounds, but he's so small he could get through all the cracks in your game and just totally capitalize. I love guys like that.
Okay, good answer.
Thank you. Good answer. It's a
Me
nice
again.
answer. Hello.
I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about Je Suis Hamlet, how it was filming that, and if you know where we can find it to watch it.
Yeah, so that was a project that my wife did in Paris, and was that 2024, Lou?
I think so.
Yeah. So, Scott, already almost a couple of years ago now, this summer, a former student of ours works for this program in Paris where the Paris government gives a certain amount of money to the arts, like an arts apprentice program or something like that. And in this case, film, where you get a few mentors together and people who are going to be their students, and you do like a series of scenes or something like that. And they have various stipulations you have to follow in order to meet their criteria. And then you put this stuff together. And that's what this girl had done for a while. But then she asked my wife, Tracy, if she wanted to do this. My wife said, well, let's do a real movie. And so Tracy wrote a movie in 3.5 weeks. It had to be an ensemble cast where pretty much everybody had the same or equal parts with each other. So she was able to finagle that into her writing. And so she just put this film together. The other person sort of got the crew together. Tracy had to repair pretty much everything this person did because she wasn't a real producer. So Tracy, who was also a first AD and trained under Jerry Zeismer, who's like one of the biggest first ADs in the world, she knows how to do a production, and so she often had to work until 3 a.m. correcting all the stuff that the producer did. So essentially, Tracy deadlifted this movie from start to finish. Mostly populated it with a cast of our students from Playhouse Paris, a couple of expat Americans who were sort of a pain in the ass to work with. And Lou was gracious enough to come over and watch Frankie for me when I was filming. And then so a lot of the pictures you see at Theatre Gouvernail are me and Frankie in the hallway, in between shots. Hey, buddy, in between shots. So that film right now, which she finished with a great effort on her part and willpower of, of a goddess, is now making the festival circuit. It just won Best Comedy at the Chicago Women's Film Festival. It's up for another award at another film festival, but I haven't kept track. I don't know if it's winning that. So right now it's making the festival circuit. Come on, bud. And the idea is that hopefully a distributor, come on. Hopefully a distributor sees it at the festival and then purchases it. That's the idea. And so once a distributor purchases it, then it'll be for sale and it'll be out there in the world. They'll put it on a streaming platform or whatever deal she's able to make. And then you'll be able to see it but now you can't. So now you can't. But I think it's going to be a fun little film. What I saw was good.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. Hi, bud. You okay? Yeah. What you doing, oldie?
Okay.
Are you an old person?
Cody. Okay, so my question's more about, okay, because you mentioned your little writing thing yesterday. I was kind of curious, well, one, if you could share what that one's about, but my thing is, how do you determine what to come up with that you think that is going to gain an audience or that'll keep an interest in what you're writing?
So I'll answer that part first. I don't think you should ever write anything with the idea of keeping or gaining an audience. You just have to write something that interests you. And I think if it interests you, it's probably going to interest somebody else. If you have a modicum of talent, that's the way it's going to be. I think the way the studios work is they try to figure out what the people want by, reverse engineering all the films that have already happened and asking for something that's derivative of that. Fuck that. That's lame. You want to write something that comes from your guts, right? Yeah, and from your heart. You don't want to write something that you think other people are going to like. I think that's the wrong approach. So the thing I'm in the third draft of now, I originally called Lame Duck. I don't know if you guys know what the term lame duck means in American politics, but it's a term in American politics where a president or any politician whose term is up is both impotent and all powerful at the same time because they have no election coming up. So they call that person a lame duck because they can do a lot of damage and at the same time they're sort of politically unviable. It's a weird paradox, but that's sort of what it is. But I submitted the draft or two to Paul Gay, who's an objectivist who wrote Liar, Liar. I don't know if you saw that movie. Super funny movie, super witty. And he's helped me go through a couple of rewrites. And since I've renamed it The Spirit of 76. And it's basically about a down and out actor who's sort of a amateur historian and a teacher to make his living, who gets amnesia through this thing that happens and thinks he's Thomas Jefferson. He's sort of obsessed with Thomas Jefferson, thinks he's Thomas Jefferson during an election cycle, and he sort of becomes this, a reluctant candidate. But the things he says, I think, are things that we all want to hear. At least I want to hear from a candidate. And so I took a very currently unpopular figure who's also responsible for the way we think about liberty and rights and freedom. Paradoxically, he's called a psychopath by so many people on the left, and they don't see beyond his slaveholding. So I deal with all of that stuff too, and it's just been super fun, But I just dropped it a while back because I got so preoccupied with 50 other things, I just didn't pick it up. So now, since I stated my intention yesterday, I picked it up today. I was writing for 2 hours and almost missed my thing with Katrin because I was pretty involved in what I was doing. The story's pretty good. And, when my wife read the first 10 pages of it and she's like, this is good. And if she says it, it's true. There's no shit. If she says it, it's true. So I think I have something here. I'm not going to worry about anything other than finishing the draft, getting it to my wife to read, getting it to Paul Gay again to read, fixing whatever problems are in it, and going from there. But I think I'm going to pull a Rocky with this. I'm going to do what Sylvester Stallone did. It's like, yeah, we can do this movie if I'm playing the part, because I'm the one who's going to bring the shit to it, man. I'm not going to let anybody have it except for me. But, the difference between me and Sylvester Stallone is I think he watched a Chuck Wepner fight and then like that night wrote Rocky. Fucker. Goddamn fucker. So I'm extending that 24-hour period into 2 years.
Hey, Mike, you talked before about you doing a bunch of cons when you come over to Europe. A little while ago, there was a petition to get you back to Creation. What's happening with that? Have you been invited to a Creation Con yet?
Yeah, so I went to Norfolk, which was a Creation Con. That was totally a last minute thing, I guess. So they called me literally at 7:30 at night. I think I was on my way to go see Send Help. Like I was literally on my way to watch a movie for the Horror Roundtable when they called me and they said, can you go first thing in the morning to Norfolk? And at first I rejected it. I was like, oh, come on, really? I can't do this. I don't have anybody to babysit Cody. I mean, I have a furry kid here that I have to take care of. I can't, just leave spontaneously. And they're like, we really think it would be a good idea if you can find a way to go, because this would be a great gesture for Creation if you go. And I've always liked working with Creation. I like Creation events. I'm a team player. I love everybody there, the people who work there. All the actors are fun to work with. So I went, I did it. I mean, I had to wake up at 3:00 the next morning to go fly out. So it was a great sacrifice. in a way. I didn't think of it as a sacrifice. I'm hoping I'm paving the way for more creation events. It was a great event. I had a great time. Had a great time in Norfolk. Great time meeting all the fans. It seemed very positive, and I have heard nothing yet. I've seen tons of advertisements on social media, which I have been promoting, favoriting, and retweeting. In the interest of promoting creation events because I think they're fun events, but also in the interest of them seeing what a team player I am. They should know this already. Now I've toned down my rhetoric on social media because I just see how unproductive it is. It's after how many years now? 12, 13 years of banging my fucking head against the proverbial wall. I finally decided I've had enough of the bullshit. And I really just don't fight with people anymore. I used to think it was the only reason I did it before is because I think it's sort of necessary to fight bullies, right? And then I thought, well, the bullies aren't going to change, but people who are on the fence watching the fight from the outside, they might change. But when that barely materializes, I finally just say fuck it. So the long and the short of it is they haven't invited me back, and I've been seeing lots of advertising. And I know one thing for sure: Kiana's mad. And look, don't get a woman mad. Don't get a woman mad. Don't get Kiana mad because she's saying if this keeps up, she's going to do something about it. And the last time she did something about it on her own, by the way, I said, if you're going to do something like this, I'm not involved in it, but on her own was do that petition, which got, nearly 4,000 signatures, which they requested me to take down, by the way. Creation requested that I take it down. I said, I have no control over it. My adopted daughter has done it. And they said, can you please ask her? I said, sure, I'll ask. They said, because we're getting a lot of hate. And I said, you mean love for me? Because that's what I mean, because you guys are the ones who are hating. You guys are the ones who have X'd me out because, for no reason at all. And it's pretty unjust. And I think what people are mad about is that it's unjust. And they should be mad about it being unjust. So, let's bring justice back. Bring me back. I'm a good player. I'm a good team player. I love all the fans. If you're not a dick, you're never going to have a problem with me. If you're a dick, you're going to have a problem with me. So don't be a dick, and you'll be perfectly safe.
Words to live by there. You got a question in the chat as well. Another question about Je Suis Hamlet, and this is, what is it about?
Oh, it's about an aging teen idol who wants to be legitimized again in the eyes of the entertainment world. So he joins this troupe of amateur actors who are doing Hamlet, and he sort of noses his way into the production because there's a documentary film being made about him, like by a Where Are They Now in Hollywood kind of show. And he's able to parlay that into actually taking over the part from the guy who actually won it. And so they document the making of this play, which is filled with a cast of extremely crazy characters. My character is an English actor by the name of Thomas. I play Claudius. For those of you who don't know Hamlet, Claudius is Hamlet Senior's brother. He's Hamlet's uncle. Spoiler alert: he kills Hamlet's father. It's the reason why Hamlet's sort of going nuts from the beginning of the play to the end. Anyway, my character is on medication and decides that to best realize the guilt and angst over killing his brother, he should go off his medication, which is blocking his access to his emotions. And of course, he goes absolutely out of his mind at some point in the show and gets pretty crazy. It's fun. It's a fun little romp. What's up?
Hello, Mark.
Hello.
Oh, my question is, out of all the parts that you have played, what was your favorite?
I'm fond of Gavin Q. Baker III. Just because I got to play a part that I don't often, if ever, get to play. Not just a flamboyantly gay man, but a guy who's well-dressed, well-groomed, super smart, on top of everything, probably the smartest, slickest dude in the room. I guess you could say Lucifer was that in season 5, but this guy, so much more obviously so. So I love that. I love the fact that character, Gavin Q. Baker III, is the only character in all 5 seasons of The Closer who owns Kira Sedgwick's character. He owns her. Like, he literally puts her in her place multiple times, and there's not a single character in the entire show who does that except for mine, which is amazing. And James Duff, who wrote the part, says, "Look, this is me. This is just Gavin Q. Baker is me." Well, for me, it was Carson Kressley meets Tim Gunn. Those were my 2 inspirations. I don't know if you guys know Carson Kressley, but he was the couture guy in the original Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. He's on RuPaul's Drag Race now, and he is such a fucking funny dude. I love that guy. And Tim Gunn, too, is unintentionally funny. Carson Kressley is just campy and funny on purpose. Tim Gunn is unintentionally funny, but super well dressed, super stylish, super put together. I love him too. So my 2 favorite gay men on streaming platforms became Gavin Q. Baker III. And that's a little Johnny Depp action there, by the way. Johnny Depp, when he does work on characters, he picks he picks people in life that he thinks he emulates, and he does their characterization, and that becomes the character, right? Like, what was it? Keith Richards meets Pepe Le Pew is Jack Sparrow. If you watch Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, he's clearly doing Mr. Rogers. He just imitates these guys in real life, and it does something to connect him with the characters. And I did that with that part, and I think it was fun. It was a great road into that role.
I can't wait to see the Vought Rising.
Yes. Now, I don't talk like me here because I'm also, in that case, imitating a real guy. And so what I would do is I would listen to his lectures. He gave lectures at a very prominent Ivy League school way back when, and I would listen to those lectures. And I would have a series of phrases that I would turn just to get the proper resonance of his voice. So if you notice that I'm not talking like me, well, that's because I'm not me. I'm this other dude.
Yeah, it's going to be good. When's it supposed to come out? Do you know?
I have no idea. I'm imagining that they'll probably start releasing episodes in the summer.
Okay.
Even if we get re-upped for a second season, though, I heard we might not hear anything for like 18 months. And that's the way streaming goes nowadays. It's unfortunate because if you build up an audience, by the time you get through a second season, you've forgotten about the first season. At least I have. I don't know if you guys work that way, but when I finally saw season 5 of Stranger Things, I had to go back and review all 4 seasons because I'd forgotten pretty much everything about the show. That's not, I mean, the show is so good. I think it was able to maintain its audience, but that's not the way to do business, man. You're going to really lose a lot of people that way.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, we're having to go back and rewatch like all the other seasons of The Boys because I can't remember a single thing that happens. Maybe also because it's really traumatic, everything that happens, so I blocked it out.
If I see season 5, I will have to go back and review pretty much every episode from the beginning.
Yeah. This is not the question that I wanted to ask. You mentioned RuPaul's Drag Race a lot. Do you have a favorite like contestant from RuPaul's Drag Race?
Oh, that would be a Tracy question because she's really into the show. I only sit down and watch it occasionally with her, and I enjoy the show. And I enjoy drag shows too. I used to go to Queen Mary often, which is a drag place. I don't even know if it exists anymore in the Valley. There was a place called El Toro in West Hollywood that I would go to from time to time. Granville. We used to go there and watch the shows. After we were doing our short film that was nominated for an Academy Award, we'd go to Granville and fucking just party there and have a great time. So I don't, they're all, so many of them are so fucking hilarious. I don't know that I can pick one. If you have one, let me know and definitely show a picture because I want to see her in all her glory.
I have too many. That's not the question I wanted to ask. The question I wanted to ask was, you play just so many characters that are just skis buckets, um, like so many. Do you like playing characters that are such assholes, or would you like to play more that are maybe not Nazi psychopath, serial killers or abusive
Well,
assholes?
the parts I'm up for now are not that. So that's good. The parts I'm up for now are the chief of the police of Joliet in this thing called American Blue. I'm up for two parts in that actually, and another is the cynical cop he's actually a good guy. The other thing I'm up for is a lawyer who helps men whose wives have falsely accused them of molesting their children so they can get custody of their children and get all the property and stuff. So I'm a good guy there too. And those will be fun if I can do any of those. The thing I like about bad guys is they push the action. I mean, without them, the good guys are just sitting home watching UFC and eating pizza. We're the catalyst to the story. We're the guys who are passionately going after values, and the other guys have to react to us and defend what's good. And so, I mean, I hate to say it, but our culture, thinks bad guys and good guys are sort of equally powerful. And I think we even put an emphasis on the bad guys being even, somewhat edging out the good guys in power because they are the ones who are actively seeking to get what they want. And so it's fun to play those guys, right? It's fun to play guys who, I'll say this nicely because it's not what I mean, and you'll know that I don't mean this exactly, Persephone, but it's fun to play guys who passionately value and who will go about getting those values in such a passionate way that they're almost willing to do anything. And since I mean, I like putting myself in those shoes when there's no consequences or no real consequences. And I like playing people who are just a little bit more passionate than I am, a little bit more active than I am, a little bit more unhinged than me, and braver, riskier, bigger risk takers. That those are parts of my personality that I think it could use a lot more strengthening. And sometimes these characters help me see those angles better.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Hello, who's next?
Me again. Yay.
Hello. Hi.
Okay, so this is a pretty random one, but sort of, because you posted your little bad turn wars gift thing with gift. So when that scene with Jeremy Allen White and pretty much the entire movie, your character is so damn sweaty. Why is he so sweaty? Throughout the entire movie, he's the only one that is like covered in sweat.
It's summertime in fucking Tyler, Texas.
But you're the only one.
Oh, I'm also active and big and old.
Okay.
I mean, in the movie, in the part where I'm really sweaty, I'm beating the shit out of somebody. So and I was kicking a what they call a sandbag. The sandbags are what they put on the bottom of what do they call those things? Fuck. I'm having a senior moment.
Bag.
No. These sandbags are filled with metal pellets, and they put them on like grip stands. That's what they are. Grip stands hold flags, flags that they put the flags in front of lights, so they put these big sandbags in front of this guy, and I'm kicking the shit out of these things. They weigh about 40 pounds, so you can't get hurt. But when you're that active, and remember at the time I probably had atrial fibrillation too. So I'm kicking the shit out of this thing. It's 120 degrees and we're in a metal shed in Tyler, Texas in the fucking summertime. It's about 130 degrees in there. I said 120. It keeps going up every 10 degrees. If I keep talking, it's going to be 150. But it was super hot in there. And those guys aren't moving. They're just sitting there, right? I'm the one all active. And I don't think I wasn't sweating was I sweating in another part? I wasn't sweating in the other scene with Jeremy.
I don't remember. I just remember your character was like covered in it through most
well,
of the
that
movie.
in that scene, yes. And I think when I take them inside to do the plan with them, I take my shirt off and I'm actually washing myself, if I remember. And so which was a fun bit to do. The scene that I have with Mackenzie Davis and Jeremy, do you remember where I pick up that thing on the ground? You remember that where I'm having a talk with Jeremy? Huh? It's in one
been
of
a
the
while,
two.
but I think
It's
so.
one of the two. It's one of the two scenes that I posted. Those two scenes are in the same reel. Anyway, all that was improvised. I found that thing in that warehouse that we were in, and I just improvised like I was going to bash his skull in with it, and then I draw this circle around the thing. All that was just playful improvisation. I wanted to, intimidate him, scare him, and make him, wonder what was going to happen next. That was what my action, I think, was. And I mean, that's the whole thing. The whole "what is your price" thing is all about getting him to break. And so that's what I was doing. But I only thought I was sweating in one scene. If you can point out a couple more, please do. That's embarrassing.
I'll have to rewatch. It's been a while.
Yes, you have to rewatch it.
I do. And my part two is just you have to play Resident Evil 9 Requiem since you like the Resident Evil series. It's really, really good. It's the best out of them all so far.
Okay, so what was the one with the not Outbreak, but the one before that?
8.
Right? Yeah. Okay, was that the one with like
Chris.
the crazy inbred grandmother or mother in there or something?
That's 7. That's Biohazard.
Okay. Biohazard. Fuck Biohazard. Fuck Biohazard. I got freaked out. I couldn't fucking play anymore. And if this game is anything similar, I don't know that I'll be able to continue it.
Well, it went back to survival horror mainly. You play as Grace Ashcroft for most of it, and it is a survival horror aspect. But you do play as Leon later, and it switches back and forth. So everybody's happy that Leon's back, and you can play him again.
Well, I like Leon. But look, that grandmother freaked me out. I actually had one of our friends who was a former student, came from Paris, and she stayed with us for a little while. I had to have her play that whole section and watch her because she was really good, and she defeated that thing. But when that thing's crawling up the walls and shit, I'm done. I'm out. I know. I'm a gigantic pussy.
It's okay. It was a good game.
It was scary.
It was scary.
I'm hiding behind one of the barrels as that fucking crazy grandmother is like walking back and forth. And I'm trying to figure out a way to get the fuck out of there before she finds me. It was horrible.
I don't know how you're going to handle 9 then, because when you're playing as Grace, you have to face a creepy stalker woman that's even more terrifying, and you have to kill a giant baby.
A giant what?
A giant baby, like a very big
No, that's
baby.
really weird. That's nightmarish. No, here's what I do. Here's how I'll conquer that one. I'll get my friend Sam Witwer to play it on Twitch, and I'll go over to his house and watch him play it because he's really good at that shit. Because he did that with Deep Space, like Deep Space 2. Did you ever play that?
I never got into the Deep Space games, but I got it.
They're fucking wrong. I mean, they're right. They're just so scary. The Deep Space 2 starts out with you in a fucking straitjacket. So you have no hands, and you have to get through this gauntlet of fucking things, and you have to find a way to get out of the fucking straitjacket without being able to, fend off the creatures. I couldn't do it. I had to hand the controls to him and say, "Go." It's too much.
So Silent Hill and Resident Evil, not your cup of tea right now.
No, I do love Silent Hill and I do love Resident Evil. It just scares the fuck out of me in a good way. I mean, I'm making a big production out of it now. I have fun. There's nothing more frightening than something coming out of an ashy fog, with no face and twitching around. I mean, that's terrifying.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Mark.
All right. Thanks. Yeah, I'll probably play it. I'll probably break down and play it because I like being scared. I just don't know if I'll be able to finish it because those bosses on Resident Evil fuck me up pretty bad.
Hi, Mark. It's me.
Hey, what's
Um,
up?
I totally forgot my question, so I'm just gonna freeball it. If you had one piece of advice to give, both as Mark Pellegrino and as Lucifer, what would it be? About anything. I totally forgot my question.
I just think it's a boldness wins the day, so be bold.
Will do.
Yeah.
I
Every
forgot.
time every time I've been bold, I win. Even if I don't get a project or I lose in the short term, in the long term I win.
Got it.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. What's your favorite in real life mystery? Like it can be unsolved murder case or something with paranormal aspects, something that still bothers you, like you want to know what happened.
Well, so like a while back, I read this book by oh fuck, what's his name? The guy who started the profiling unit in the FBI. He wrote a book called Mindhunter. What's his name again? John. He was also the advisor on Silence of the Lambs. Maybe somebody, Lou, if you could look up Mindhunter real quick and tell me the author, because I'm just forgetting his name. I recommend Mindhunter all the time to actors because the way this guy approaches cases is the way actors should approach scripts. Anyway, he wrote a book called the cases that fuck, I can't remember the name of the cases that scare us or something like that. And they're all the unsolved cases, some of which have been solved since then. Like the Green River Killer was one of them that got solved. The BTK killer was one that got solved. And it's been so long since I've read it. I don't know if he had the right predictions on those. But one of the killers that he thinks he solved was the Zodiac killer. Now, that case is very fascinating to me. I don't know that they ever found the guy who committed those murders in San Francisco. Um, and I don't know that they ever will find the guy. Also, Jack the Ripper is a very interesting case to me. And I've seen a few documentaries on that. And also, I mean, there's From Hell, you know, the comic, the illustrated novel that's all about, you know, the one theory behind what and who Jack the Ripper was. But that's a very, very interesting case to me because they've never solved it. And one documentary came up with one potential guy who had, I don't remember his name. I think he worked in a market, like I want to say a meat market in London, and he had a route that went along the same path as the prostitutes that were murdered. He was a butcher, I think, and had the capacity to do what this guy did, and had, I guess, not motive, but he had the time. Like his route was around the same time that a lot of these people were killed. I wish I could. I'll try to find that documentary again. But that is very interesting to me. Who was Jack the fucking Ripper? Some people say he was an aristocrat. Some, you know, there's 50 different theories on the guy. None of them have ever produced any solid evidence that I know of. If anybody knows, let me know. Lou, did you find the
Yeah.
name of that?
Yeah, it's John Douglas, and the other book
John Douglas. Thank you. Yeah,
is
John
The
Douglas.
Cases That Haunt Us.
Cases That Haunt Us. Read that book, and he might even have the Golden State rapist on there, who was also a murderer. They called him it wasn't the Night Stalker because that was Richard Ramirez, but they called him something like that. And they just found him recently because of DNA evidence, and he was like 75 years old man now, and used to be a cop. Super scary. You have any cases that freak you out?
Me.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think those killer cases are so scary, but I think like I don't know if anyone of you have heard about the Dyatlov Pass. That's where those like hikers die in a very weird way, and no one
Where is
still
that?
knows. It was in Russia, and it was like, I don't know, a mountain place, like there's no civilization nearby, and they were hiking there, and then they just died. Like they had like all kind of weird, like some burn marks, and it was very random, and no one can explain what happened to them. So I think like that was kind of spooky, but I don't think those killer cases are so scary, but they are interesting.
Really? But they're real.
Yeah, but well, actually, there's one thing that Oklahoma Scout murders. I think that's a bit scary because they were on a, what's that called? A summer camp. The kids were at the summer camp, and one of the people who was like sort of teacher in there heard that someone or something was growling in the forest nearby, and I guess that was the killer. And that's kind of scary because, yeah, it was a human, but it sounded like some animal. So I think that's kind of creepy.
Yeah, just full disclosure, I don't go camping without a firearm.
Yeah, maybe that's better. Yeah.
That's just what I do.
Yeah, they never found the killer, so that's kind of strange. But it's interesting case.
And that's a real person. So real people are scary.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of creepy.
You know who I think murdered those people in Russia?
Yep.
Putin.
But I don't think he was like active during that time. But it has been talked that it was the Russian like government that it did something weird, and they are trying to cover it because they came up with all sorts of excuses like, oh, there was an avalanche or something, but they had all sorts of weird marks on their bodies, like burn marks, and like they have been hit with some kind of stick or something. So I don't think that was an avalanche.
Nah. And if the story's changing a lot, they've done something wrong. And it's the Russian government. They're pretty fucked up.
Yeah. And I think they did some like experiments in that area.
Yeah.
So it can be them. And also there's a similar case to that Dyatlov Pass, and surprise, it happened in Russia too. And there were hikers, and suddenly they started vomiting blood for no obvious reason. And all of them died except for one girl.
I think the reason is probably they stumbled on like a chemical or nuclear facility where they're experimenting with the weaponization of something like bioweapons or chemical weapons or some kind of nuclear device, and they just got fucked up.
That's probably the case, but one of them didn't have like any symptoms. She just got away. And later, when she was asked about it, she told two different stories. So it has been suspected that maybe later the government told her to stay quiet about what happened, because later she just said that, they just got sick, but I didn't see any blood. She changed her story.
Well, that's fishy.
Yeah, I think so too. But those are interesting cases because it's like kind of every time someone is like into nature and there is no one who can help you, and then something weird happens. So those are my favorite cases because they are so creepy. Of course, it's not nice for the victims, but it's the most interesting thing, in my opinion. Like you are in the wild and then something goes wrong.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's some good horror about stuff like that. If you're a horror fan.
Yeah, of course. Like Blair Witch Project or something like that. Those are good.
That's a classic, yeah. Or The
Yeah,
Ritual. I think The Ritual is pretty interesting if you want to see that.
I have seen it, but I don't know why. It wasn't scary enough. Like it was interesting, but I was sort of like, is this everything they have to give? Like I was expecting maybe more. I don't know,
Yeah.
but it was okay.
Amanda says, I love camping on my own with my two dogs. Well, you're not really on your own if you're with your two dogs. Your two dogs are your alarm system. They sense everything way before you do. So you're actually better off with two dogs than you are with two human beings, to be honest
Yeah,
with you. Um, Being alone is like being alone. That means no alarm systems, no dogs. You're just there by yourself. You should have some kind of weapon to defend yourself against crazy people. I say one long arm, one long weapon, long rifle, one pistol, and a knife, and you're good. You should be good.
that was my
Uh,
question. So
yeah, you should. I mean, I understand why. Thank you, Yuri. That was great. I understand why your friends didn't want you to bring along a firearm. I guess you had to respect that because you're in a group of folks, I guess. But you know, you're out there in the wilderness. You got wild creatures who don't give a fuck. You know. Oh, that was a park ranger. Okay, well, you should be able to carry a firearm.
So, Mark, you're heading to Paris in a couple of months. So I presume you're going to be teaching while you're there. Could you talk a little bit about what you enjoy about teaching?
Yeah, so I'm heading to Paris on April 7th, so that's just around the corner. And I'll be in Europe until June, early June. Uh, and what I love about teaching is confirming principles, right? You know certain principles are good, but to confirm that they're good by seeing them in action and then practicing them yourself is just a very it's a very good feeling. And and I love passing on what I know to somebody else and watching that knowledge open up doors in their lives and open up opportunity for them to grow and change and become better. I mean, really, as a teacher, your influence is eternal, right? You never know when that one thing you say to them is going to influence not only him or her, but you know, relatives of him or her, or friends of him and her. Whether you know where that influence stops is like it's infinite. And so you don't have that kind of influence as an actor. You only have that kind of influence as a teacher. Um, and we teach the way we teach it at Playhouse. I mean, you've been there, Lou. It's not typical, right? Most acting teachers sit in the audience and they pontificate principles or they critique your scenes. I think we're the only place in Paris that actually where I, an actor and a teacher, get up on stage with the actors and actually work with them. I actually act with them, actually put into practice the shit that we're talking about. And you don't really see that. And most of the time, you don't see that because the acting teachers who are teaching can't fucking act. But I think it's good for acting students to see where the technique can take them because they can get a little discouraged, as anybody can in mastering an art, because mastering an art takes a long time, and you'd like to see where it all ends up, you know, because where you start, you might feel overwhelmed, uh, and never get to the end of the technique because you just feel too overwhelmed. I think it helps to see somebody who is a pretty good practitioner of the technique up there. You can say, oh, well, if he can do it, I can do it. And you know what? I'm going to stick with it. I know I get inspired like that when I see someone like Jean Jacques who's the owner and teacher at our academy. I mean, he's daunting because he just knows so much. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's like watching Marlon Brando act. It's like you're never going to touch that. You're not going to touch it. But it's inspiring because he has a birth defect and he became a jujitsu champion and a world renowned legend in the sport and in self defense with one hand. Well, one and a quarter hands, and he has such an amazing attitude about it. Nothing stops that guy. So even if I'll never be even close to the jujitsu guy he is, like not even a fraction of him, I'm inspired by him so much that it keeps me rolling. And that's what a teacher does. A teacher inspires.
Hi, Mark. Another question. I just saw that you reposted some astronomy related news on X, and I wondered if that is out of personal or professional interest.
No, I like that stuff. I like hearing, new discoveries. Like apparently now, Voyager is the farthest reaching man-made probe in the solar system. It's leaving the solar system right now. That's incredible. It is, I think it's 1 light minute away from Earth now. And that's an incredible feat. I mean, that's tens of billions of miles away from Earth. Um, and it's still sending and receiving, it's still sending signals. And it just went through this, I forget what the exact name for it is, but it's like a solar barrier where where the sun's gravitational and energy reach literally ends, and there's some kind of barrier there before it hits interstellar space that it actually perceived and reported back to us. And it's a weird scenario where it's like 90,000 degrees Celsius and at the same time like absolute zero. I don't know how they they were able to discover this stuff, but it's a strange phenomenon that this machinery experienced and was able to exist through and still send signals back to us and continue on into interstellar space. I just think I think that stuff is amazing,
Absolutely, I could agree more.
Getting tuned up as to how vast the universe is, how many secrets are there, how much space there is for us humans to inhabit. We can never, if we put our minds to it, we could live anywhere. We can live almost anywhere, and we're the only beings that we know of that have the capacity to do that.
Yeah, it's nice to see some positive news on your feed.
I've been putting a lot. What? I've been putting a lot of positive news on my feed lately.
Exactly, since I'm following for a few years now, and it's a very positive change. And
okay, good. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I still, the followers continue to drop off no matter what I do.
Maybe some other reasons we don't know about.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, I like that stuff too. I like that because it's inspiring. So I like showing now, what's possible in humanity. I think we need to see that. Before, I think when I first started the Twitterverse in 2012, it was fairly tame. By 2014, it became very toxic and inhabited by bullies. And so I felt like my job for a long time on social media was to combat fucking evil people. Now I just feel like I'm done because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't save anyone, and it causes me more pain than benefits. So now I feel like, I think people need to see more that humanity is actually noble and humanity is capable of achieving great things. And I think the more people see that in life, I think the better that is for all of us. So that's why I'm posting all that scientific stuff too. I find it fascinating, but also I find it inspiring, and it makes me love humans. And it's so easy to hate humans. It's easy to do that.
Spreading good news is a good thing.
Right? Spreading what's possible is a good thing.
Absolutely. All right.
Good. I'm glad you like it. I'm going to keep doing it. Dogs too. Dogs are always amazing. You can't see a dog and not feel happy after seeing it. Right? He doesn't care.
Hi,
I see
Mark.
hands. Hi.
I'm Cosmic Wolf's daughter.
Cool.
I'm the one who got her into the show.
Awesome. Thank you.
And I got a question that who was your favorite person to work with on the cast of Supernatural?
It's like an ensemble favorite because I don't have any one particular person because I feel like I had unique, good relationships with everybody. I mean, Sam Smith right now is my agent for conventions. She's a fantastic human being. Hold on. Cody, 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 what are you doing? And can you hear me?
Yes.
She's a great human being, super smart. And I hang out with Sam and Elena all the time when I'm at conventions. Kim, Brianna. Um, I love working with Jensen, and I've worked with him on Vought Rising. We do quite a few things together on the show. He's just a super dude, super great guy. Jared as well. Mark is the Shepherd is the difficult one in the cast, but I've always liked him.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, he's the difficult one. He's got issues for sure, but nothing about his issues have ever. I mean, it might drive my wife mad, but there's something about him that I really, really like, and that I find sometimes very comforting. And he understands what's been going on with Frankie, and I feel like I don't know, we sort of bonded years and years ago when he sort of cornered me and was talking about the divorce he was going through, and I was very open to listening, and I think irrespective of what he brings to the table in other regards, there's things about him that I just really like. Even if other things sort of annoy me a little bit, they don't annoy me as much as the things that I like. And so, I mean, David Haydn Jones is a good guy, despite the fact that he's been villainized by a portion of the fandom, the insane fandom, that little fraction of whom are absolutely destroying any possibility of hanging with the actors. I mean, if you think about it, fans have unprecedented access to actors of their favorite shows, and some of them just treat it like it's always going to be this way.
Yeah.
And they abuse the privilege of being with the actors. They don't understand that, you abuse the actors enough, you're fucking done. There's going to be a time when this won't happen anymore. And, they abused, I mean, some of them were just very, very unfortunate things they said about David Haydn Jones. They tried to make him into another Travis Aaron Wade, who they destroyed, unjustly, I might add. And luckily, David took this one person to court and won, and rightfully so. He's a super good guy, and he didn't deserve any of the shit that he got for that. So, I really love this cast. I support them all the time on social media. I always promote whatever it is they're doing, whatever job they happen to be doing. I think they're great folks, and I want to be, that good family member that encourages and promotes what they do.
I think you're a good person.
Thank you.
Hi, Mark.
Hello.
Long time no see.
Yeah.
How you been?
I mean, I've been sick for a month.
With what? Besides,
I don't know. I got it in Pensacola.
the love bug of losing your best friend.
Yeah, that was fucked.
I'm sorry to hear about that.
Thank you. That was the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And I've had a lot of bad things happen to me, by the way. And that's got to be the worst thing. And I'm still dealing with that. I cried pretty hard last night, just looking at pictures of my guy, and because I need to see him, I need to hear his little voice, see those eyes, and because it makes me feel good, and at the same time, sad, and I miss him a lot. And yeah, I got sick. I got better temporarily, and then it relapsed. And now I think I'm coming out the other side of it. So I'm going to go to jiu-jitsu tomorrow because I don't think I'll infect anybody. But I have a rather persistent shoulder problem nagging me at the moment. And I popped a knee like 3 weeks ago, wrestling.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I'm a little riddled with injuries and can't train as hard as I'd like to. And I'm getting fat.
Please promise me by the time you hit like at least 50, you'll still kick ass.
Yes, thank you. By the time I hit at least 50, I'll do that.
Don't beat your body up too much.
You know I'm 61, right?
Really? Are you kidding me? I thought you were 49 or like 55 when I met you in 2023.
Thank you very much. No, I'm 61, but I still wrestle guys who
Well,
are in
you're
their
really
20s.
healthy then, Mark. My
Well,
apologies.
I'm not going to tempt fate, but I do my
No, you
best.
shouldn't. Well,
Yeah.
I
I'm going to
do
be
have.
I'm going to be 61 April 9th, so it's coming up. I'm going to be in Paris for my birthday.
Well, do I have you beat that now that I'm turning 30?
Damn,
And it
don't
feels
say that.
weird. It feels weird.
Yeah, wow.
And then on top of that, my daughter's turning 6, and I'm still fighting custody for her because
That
of
sucks.
parental alienation. But my question was, why do you think narcissism is on the rise with mental illness more than ever?
I think it's the rise of emotionalism.
Come here, Charlie.
The rise of emotionalism in our culture has
Mhm.
gotten people to not to think that emotions are their way of evaluating everything. It's their window to truth. A reason and what you perceive no longer matters anymore. And so when you focus on emotions like that, what you're feeling is immediately so. It's the truth, and really nothing else matters. And I think that has gotten people focused on their feelings, right?
So for me, I've noticed with my ex, he may be the father of my child and he struggles with being a covert narcissist. For me, struggling with complex PTSD, I noticed he juggles his emotions more than he likes to admit. And for me, it's like he's blacking it out compared to a person with trauma. They see it for what it is, like true colors and dotted lines. For him, it's like you could throw him in front of the judge or a police officer or even CPS, and he still wants to be a person that sees the child as leverage or object because the mother didn't want to get an abortion. So now he wants to be a father because that's his choice now at the last minute. And I feel
Yeah, I
like
mean,
I'm juggling with somebody that can't see their true colors in themselves. So now they have to alienate me from being a mother because they don't want me to show the world that domestic violence exists in males and females. It's no gender assigned anyway.
yeah, narcissist is not going to admit they're wrong. I don't think they want to introspect because that could that could jeopardize their perspective of themselves as being, good, the king of the
So do you
hill.
think it's an ego thing more than a soul?
I think it's certainly a character defect that might be bound up with ego issues, but I don't. It's certainly a psychiatric problem that I don't think can be solved.
So why do you think most men choose to be narcissistic with their children and ex-partners, the mother of their children, then get
I
like
don't think
help?
most
Like
men do.
for me, I think
I
I
don't
see
think.
a psychiatrist twice a month, and I feel like that's the best thing for me when I've been through hell and back, per se.
Yeah, I don't think most men do. I think some men do. I mean,
Okay.
whatever the proportion of sociopaths are out there, they're a small but significant enough
Well, when
portion
I
to
was
cause
learning in
harm.
community college about forensic science and also Mindhunter, I learned that most men tend to learn from what they stemmed from their parents. So when I learned that my ex was a victim of childhood violence, I feel like he is now boboing our child. If you remember the bobo theory, I did a whole
I
review
don't know
on
what
that
that
in
is.
community college. It's basically the effect of when the child is violence from either parent abusing each other, it creates the child to abuse another person when they grow up. The hurt people hurt theory, but it's called the Bobo effect because they're using children around the age of, I want to say, from 10 months to about 3, and they're placing them around parents that either show them love or show the other parent love. And if they don't, then they reciprocate whatever they witness. So, for example, the Bobo effect is based on domestic violence. If the child witnesses domestic violence, then they get to be a offender later on because it never leaves them. So now I feel like
Well,
my ex, he just doesn't matter if it's abuse or neglect, if he ignores our child or if he puts his hand across our child's butt, or even if he smacks me or punches me or strangles me, it still feels like he doesn't want the world to see him as a violent person. And I have to feel like
no,
I have to pay for a
they would
lawyer
never.
that doesn't want to see morals or values in the system anymore. They just want to play tug of war with my daughter and have me trust CPS. And I don't believe that's right. So I feel like mental health is more on the rise than anything, and narcissism in our
I think
country.
you're right, but I think it's because people are emotionalists. They don't think reason is a faculty that can rescue them. They've diminished the power of philosophy in their lives. They don't think that will help.
So do
So
you
they've
think we
relied
are
on,
more lost more Western values now as a society,
no,
as
not
philosophy
really.
goes? Okay.
No. We've rejected that stuff now. We've rejected the good stuff of Western civilization. Western civilization is composed of a lot of different elements that are contradictory. And
Mm-hmm.
we've more or less embraced the anti-enlightenment side of Western civilization. That was a reaction to the John Locke's and the Montesquieu's of the world, right? The
Right.
Newtons, there was the Rousseau's, the Immanuel Kant's, Hegel. All these people were anti-enlightenment philosophers, and they've more or less informed our ethics. I mean, Rousseau informed the way we look at civilization as a corrupting influence, childhood as pure and innocent, the mind as being a detriment as opposed to your tool of survival. And people are oriented that way, and that makes them more irrational, right? And
Yes.
probably narcissistic as a result of that irrationality. And so it's the rejection of the best part of Western civilization that's left us emotionalized and irrational. And we don't have the check of reason anymore. We just have our
Mm-hmm.
feelings. Look, we got a guy in office right now, and I know
Yeah.
that he's what distinguishes him from pretty much everybody else I've ever seen in that office, because there's a lot of narcissists who populate the presidency. There's no
Yes.
question about it. But what makes him very distinct is his reliance on his emotions for everything, from choosing when to go to war, to whom to like or dislike,
Yeah.
to whom to praise or not praise. It's all about his emotional life and how
So
people
do you think parents that do that with their children and ex-partners, do they do that to do it as a tactic, or do you think, like I said, do you do it in a mental space that you just unwillingly don't know? Because
well,
I feel like
I mean
he's
to
doing it as a tactic where it's
he
another way
probably
to
is.
hide a face.
Narcissists are just trying to dominate you and
Mm-hmm.
trying to win. They're trying to win in the image wars, and that's probably what he's trying to do. But I think, generally speaking, the focus on emotionalism makes for very fragile psychologies and defensive psychologies, and that's what I think is animating a rush of narcissism. Also, within that emotionalism,
That makes more sense.
well, you have people teaching others that they're fragile, and as a result, to
Mm-hmm.
avoid to avoid making their children anti-fragile, they give them participation trophies and they praise them for everything that they do, and it's out of adjustment to what reality is. So the
So,
kids don't.
like
So
tablets,
the,
when kids are glued to the tablets in Roblox, for example.
Well, but I mean, even beyond that, the kids are not getting an accurate sense of what they are, who they are. They're not getting so they probably can't trust the information that's
Mm-hmm.
coming at them, which probably makes them turn inward. They're taught that their emotions are cues to what's existing out there. They're tools to know what the world is all about. So they trust those over their own thinking, and they're told that they're good all the time, regardless of whether they're good or not.
I
And
feel
so
like it's more on a rise where they have no degree to it.
well, I mean, I think narcissism is definitely on the rise. I think it's anybody's anybody's guess as to why that's so. I think there's a lot of factors that go into, our theories about why that's so. But, you're not going to cure a narcissist. And if it's an
Mm.
abusive narcissist, you have to be very, very careful, because they're very good at manipulating other people and even you. Watch out,
And
Bruce.
that's why I was going to ask you personally. Like, I know it sounds a little bit odd to ask you, of all people in my entire life, including my family, someone that would take my child from me and never let me see her again just because he wants to be the person and villain in my story instead of being a decent man and letting me split custody with him. Instead, he'd rather kidnap my child across state lines and hold her hostage for
Well,
10 months
that's
until
a
our court
crime.
systems in Utah and say I deserve to have the child because she didn't get an abortion, and now I guess I get to be a father and she gets to deal without being the child. So I feel
Yeah,
like I don't
I
know
don't
how to put
understand.
this, but how do you tell yourself every day that when you see the true colors in the monsters, kind of like what Carl Jung talks about, to the monsters we're monsters, how do you keep going? Besides your pets, of course.
Yeah, you just, well, I don't know your own particular situation, only what you're telling me. If he kidnapped your child and took him across state lines, that's a crime. I mean,
Yeah, and he
so,
doesn't want to give her up.
well, that's a crime, especially if you have legal custody of the child. He can't do
And so
that.
now my lawyer that I paid 11K for, may I remind you, he told me, oh, just call CPS and cops now. It's time to get CPS and cops involved and maybe we'll get your daughter back. But they told me they would put my daughter in foster care if they did that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You might have to get better representation because kidnapping your child and taking him across state lines is a federal crime. But don't take my advice because I'm not a lawyer, but it seems like you might not have representation who's doing the best for you. Because I do think if Child Protective Services came in, they would likely send the child to foster care until they sorted out what the situation was between you and this guy. And that
He's
could take a
hiding his
while.
domestic violence that he did to me and that I was hiding in 2023 when I was supposed
Yeah,
to be enjoying the convention, but I didn't get to.
yeah. Well, I mean, guys like that will try to hide their violent streak, but you know, as far as unless you have evidence, it will only be your word against his. But nonetheless, kidnapping your child and taking him across state lines is a crime. And why your lawyer isn't getting on this person immediately for that?
We had
Um,
mediation yesterday and they could give a fuck less.
I don't understand. I don't understand. But I don't know the minutia of your case. As far as I mean, as far
I'll
as
send you a message later.
okay, as far as how do you keep your head up in such a world? I mean, you have to surround yourself as much as possible with things that are good, that remind you the good is possible, and that remind you that the good is possible to you.
So that's why I was going to ask you, like, for a woman that's been through violence, do you think it would be appropriate to sign up for jiu-jitsu classes or
Of
kickboxing
course.
and jump into
I-
that
my-
instead of being like, okay, here's the psychiatrist twice a month and I'm okay?
no, I think you should do jujitsu, or some form of martial art that you think could be could help you on multiple levels. I mean,
I mean,
on
I
the
have a
one
punching bag at home. That's the most I do.
Yeah, but you don't know how to punch. So you learn how to punch. You learn how to so you can work out on the bag properly. And it serves multiple purposes. I mean, it's an emotional outlet. It gives you exercise, so it's a physical outlet. It's going to get you stronger, more flexible. And if you're doing jujitsu, especially, you have all the physical benefits of that. Plus, you're learning how to defend yourself. So, and in a case where there's physical violence against you, I can't think of anything better than knowing jujitsu for a woman. Uh, it's going to take you a long time to be able to apply it, but it's great exercise and a great outlet in the meantime. There's no more happy place for me. My happiest place in the world was with Frankie.
Yeah.
My second happiest place in the world is at the Jiu Jitsu Academy. My third happiest place in the world is when I'm hanging with Tracy and everything's going well.
That's awesome. Have you and Tracy done any vacationing time yet?
No, we're planning on doing that when I go up to Paris. I have the Paris convention, then we're going to Portugal, and we're planning
There
on
you
making.
go.
I have a convention in Portugal, but we're going to go, check out Portugal a little bit.
I heard it's beautiful up there this time.
Supposed to be beautiful. I feel guilty that I have to leave Cody with our
What?
stepdaughter.
No babysitter?
Well, he's going with our stepdaughter, so he's going to go to her
Okay,
apartment.
good deal.
Well, yeah, but I'm going to be missing him for 63 days. We're like best buds now.
Since when?
Well, since Frankie's gone.
Wow, so he's just like nuzzled up to you and decided to be your healer.
Look at him. He's sitting on my tummy right now.
We got 2 peas in a pod.
Yeah. Oh, hi, buddy.
This is Charlie Chaplin.
Hi, Charlie Chaplin.
He turned
This
17 yesterday.
Oh, that's
This
good.
is my best friend.
Yeah, they're good. Cody's 14. Time is flying, man.
Wow.
When he goes,
Well,
The whole Frankie dynasty is
My
gone.
oldest girl, she's turning 15. You just saw my Sasha.
Oh, little buddy.
Yeah, he's getting old too.
Well, let's hope they live to be 22 or 23, right?
Agreed.
Cody? You have to stay
But I
around for a
adopted
while.
2 mini horses and I named one after you. So
Meaning it's named Mark or Lucifer?
Mark.
Oh, good.
Yep. We got Marky Mark in the barn. He's a sterile pain in the ass because he's a redhead copper. So
What does that mean?
he's full ginger red. Like he's feisty. Like you don't want to like just say I'm gonna hop bareback on a little mini horse without him like throwing you.
Well,
and he also likes to bite hands that are not his.
No, not a fan of that. But I admire his pluck. So tell him I said hi.
He's a wild beaut. You'd love him.
I would
have to show you, but I would go way back upstairs. But it looks like somebody's got their hand raised besides me.
All right, thank you. Please take care of yourself.
I will, Mark. I'll hit you up on either Twitter or Facebook. What do you prefer?
Probably Twitter's more likely to get a response from me because that's where I see the DMs most.
Okay. Next time I FaceTime my daughter, is there anything you want to tell her? She's now 6. I know you haven't seen her since she was 3 when we did the soul contract, a little face-to-face.
Tell her I said hi, and I hope she's doing okay.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Yeah, Allie, you said you met Haydn at Tampa Bay Comic-Con in 2024. Yeah, man, he's a pretty good dude. I like him a lot too. Not just because we have very similar ways of looking at the world. You know, he's a Canadian and a libertarian, sort of libertarian. He's a super smart guy, man, and he's got a lot going for him.
I didn't know he was a libertarian.
You know?
No, I didn't. I knew he was a Sith Lord, but not a libertarian.
You knew what?
I knew he was a Sith Lord, but not a libertarian. Isn't it kind of the same?
No, but you know, if you're a Dave Smith libertarian, yeah, you are a Sith Lord for sure.
Okay,
Dave Smith, for anybody who doesn't know, he's a comic. He calls himself the comic Dave Smith. He's a friend of Joe Rogan. He's always on his show, but you never see the fucker doing comedy. And I don't think he knows how to tell a joke. But what he does know how to do is debate people about Israel, which is how he became famous. He doesn't know how to even do that. He does it badly, but he's become famous from it. So that's who we're talking about. And he was once. He might have been president of the Libertarian Party or a chairman of the Libertarian Party at some chapter of it at one point. So lots of folks in the Libertarian Party love that douchebag.
Okay, so I'm going to give a bit of backstory real quick before I ask my questions so people actually know what I'm talking about. So in 2024, I was at Creation Orlando. And I actually got last question with Jared and Jensen. And Mark, if you remember, I was on stage with that. I asked them that you knew that you said Jensen was made of prosthetics and Jared was on stilts. Jared thought it was hilarious, and he was like, "Well, I'm still taller." And Jensen let me tug his ear, actually.
Yes, I remember all that.
So I was wondering, do you have a new question now that now it's been answered and it's published on the entirety of YouTube to see my answer?
Look, the prosthetics are just super good.
They are. That ear was on there very tightly.
You can't tug them off, and the stilts, have been surgically implanted, obviously. So
nice.
You can't. Yeah. So I don't know. They just get better at their cosmetic surgeries. What can I say?
This is true. Oh, by the way, for anyone who goes to Creation and want to get in your panels, just like a little trick that I do, when the band comes back for the panel that ends, that's about the band end and the band comes on, get in line for the next guest, and then you'll be at the first at the microphone. So you won't have to be waiting behind 4 to 5 people. And you're usually guaranteed to get the first question in. I just got lucky with last question because as soon as I saw the band come on, I was like, oh, fuck. Everybody was looking at me, and I was like, oh, fuck, I'm so nervous. Even Jared said my name wrong. It was actually very fun. And if you come back to Creation Cons, that would be, yeah, J2 questions are raffles, and so is Misha. Misha is on Saturday. Jensen and Jared are on Sunday. But yeah, those are the only, because someone asked in the chat. Yeah, Sunday is J2, Saturday is Misha, and they do draw you out randomly, and they will display your name on the screens. So you actually have to go up to the screens to look for your name. And if there's enough time, they try to get through everybody. So, and we actually got through Misha's entire list because I got pulled randomly for it as well. He went through them pretty quickly, and yeah, the creation panels are a lot of fun. And Mark, I want you at Orlando and Charlotte because I'll be going to both of those, and it'd be nice to see you again at a con.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I'd love to go there. Both places are awesome. So, you know, from your lips to Dad's ears.
And you need to come to Georgia.
Yeah, preferably for work, but definitely I wouldn't mind being in Georgia again.
Yes, please. Savannah has so many cons here. I can't request you because the cons are very strict with requesting, but we have like, yeah, there's no way to contact anybody, and it's like and Savannah's not that far from like Jacksonville and all that, so I don't know why they, like, a lot of the cons here can't just call you up and be like, hey, would you like to come here? Yeah, Savannah is beautiful. It's history. It was first capital in Georgia. And sorry, someone said Savannah is beautiful. But yeah, it's a great city to have cons at. We have across the river, there's the convention center that can actually host the Supernatural Con. And Creation said they're doing some new cities. So I'm hoping it's something in Georgia, like Atlanta or Savannah, and definitely would like to see you there.
Yeah, bring it. I'm ready.
Yay. Sorry, I'm done now. Thank you for the answer.
Thank you, dear.
Problem.
Hey, yo. Okay, so
I was just in Portland. Somebody said they pray I was in Portland. I was in Portland like a few months ago. Go ahead.
well, I don't have a question this time, Mark. This is just kind of a for you thing. Okay, so I know a lot of people talk shit about you, and I always feel the need to have to stick up for you. I know I technically don't have to, but like I know different from what they say, because you've been there a lot for me. And even though you tell me things I need to hear, because I know you care enough that you want me to do what's best for me. And even though it's hard, I want you to know that I appreciate it because, I know that the stuff you say is right. And it's hard to come to terms with sometimes, but I'm working on it. It's going to take time, but I'm trying.
Good. Yeah, good. Yeah, I will always do my best to tell the truth from my perspective.
What's up, baby? What's up, baby? That's Rosie. She wanted to say hi.
Hey, man. So yeah, adorable. I will always do my best to tell the truth from my perspective to anybody who wants to know it. If you don't want to know it, then I won't tell you. Yeah, and yeah, I get a lot of shit online from people who don't know me, from people who've chosen to take what they've heard online and believe it, as opposed to all they have to do is research it for 10 minutes, and it would pretty much prove them wrong. But I'm not really invested in what they think about me. And unfortunately, they don't seem to be really invested in the truth. And that's problematic for them. And that's too bad, but that's their problem, not mine. So anybody who knows me knows that what people say about me is bullshit. The rest, it doesn't matter to me. If you're not going to do the work before you make an evaluation about somebody, it's your loss, not mine.
I was just dealing with arguing with people because people are doing the same thing to Misha.
But of course the fans are jumping on them because they have unprecedented access to these guys. 50 years ago, this never would have happened. They never would have had this kind of access to actors on shows. They have it now, and they take it for granted. They take for granted that they're going to be able to do this all the time. And guess what? There's going to come a time when actors reach a threshold where they're going to say, fuck this. It's too much. That some of the fandom is so toxic they make it not worth my while to interact with them. And they're just going to refuse. So, the actors, the fans who do this are just cutting off their own noses to spite their face. And they're jeopardizing relationships that the fandom can have with the actors, when from the fandom who aren't so crazy. So it's like, it's terrible that some group of fans have decided to use this unprecedented access to take advantage of it, to try to grow their own stature, to form toxic little groups. That's so ugly. It's so disgusting, and it's going to kill the goose that's laying the golden egg. It's just going to kill it.
I just hate seeing it because it's like I don't understand what the point of all the hate is. Like
they have nothing else. They have nothing else. The thing that gives them meaning in life is hatred. It's really hard to imagine somebody like that, but these people exist. They've built nothing. They do nothing. They're negativists, generally speaking, and hatred makes them feel alive, and breaking things makes them feel worthwhile. They feel seen, and then a group of them get together and they reinforce each other, and it becomes a little social clique, a mutually reinforcing social clique, and then you can't get out of it, even if you want to, because you get moral stature within the clique by being a dick. So it's like it's a self-reinforcing, negativistic, ugly scenario that I personally fought for a long time, and then just decided, fuck it. None of these people are interested in changing. They get credibility and a little bit of fame when they call an actor out and they are able to excite a response from that person. Then they get recognition. How sad do you have to be as a human being to get your visibility in that way? You're a very pathetic person. And that's what a lot of these people are. They're very pathetic, lost, psychologically fractured people looking for meaning in negativism and destruction. It's terrible, but it's true.
I know you're a little bit under the weather, so my mom always uses this. It's just like a herbal thing you do on your you just put on your chest. It's really good. It smells really herbally. It's thyme and myrrh. I don't know what it's in English,
Myrrh?
but
Myrrh?
yeah. And
okay.
It smells really good. It mainly helps me with when I have a cold. And I also have thousand things because my mom is. This is also, I think you can also get it here in the.
Is that Tiger Balm?
Yes,
I
use
love
that.
Tiger Balm. I'm a huge fan of Tiger Balm.
Yeah, use that. That really helps. It does smell a little bit weird, but it helps.
I have no
It's
sense of
super
smell
strong.
anymore.
Okay, good. Then you're not gonna smell it. And also, Mama Bear, I just want to encourage you to keep fighting for your daughter and for everything. And justice system sucks. And yes.
Yes,
and also,
indeed.
I want you to come to Germany.
Well, I mean, I think Katrin. I think there was a
She's not
poll.
here anymore.
But I think there was a poll that was sent out from the people at Purgatory Con.
Yes.
And the majority of folks wanted to see me out there. But I think justifiably what bothers Purgatory is that once they announce me, then there's those couple of asshole fans who are the first people to post. Because remember, they have no lives. They have no meaning other than negativism. And so they're the first people. They're the first people to post. And it's disturbing to the promoters to see this, even though it goes away after a couple of days, they stop posting. It's still disturbing for them, and they don't want to deal with that. And I get it. It's just unfortunate that really bad people like that dictate, a policy for a promoter, because they don't represent even close to you know, a sizable portion of the fandom.
Yeah, Ellie just thought it is funny because regular non-SPN cons, no one complains, and it's specifically as SPN con, which is just weird. And I have to agree.
It's weird. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm getting blocked out by the woke lefties out there.
Fuck those guys.
Yeah, because they think I'm a right winger. They think I'm a conservative. So that's part of what makes them mad. So
that's not true.
No, I know it's not. Well, I know it's not true. You know it's not true. Anybody who reads my feed or listens to me for 5 seconds knows that it's not true. But
I
they
listen
don't.
to you every week, okay? At the thing yesterday with Mike, which is really funny.
Yeah, so you know I'm not a right winger. You know I'm not conservative. Far from it. But they don't know that because they don't care to know that. They don't get stature from knowing the truth. They get stature from being in the team that hates Pellegrino. And I just talked about myself in the third person, which is disturbing. But that's what they get stature from. And it's so long as they get stature from that. What is that? Is that me?
No, it's that angel. That one angel on the SPN.
So
the
as long as they
in
get
the trench coat.
As long as they get stature from that instead of the truth, then we're gonna have this problem.
Yes, Katie, I can see it. Yes, you are Team Lucifer. I am also Team Lucifer. Stop it! She's been bugging me since yesterday about me having. Never mind.
Yes. I think I know where you're going with that. Yes, live, laugh, Lucifer. Yeah, man, that's what we're talking about. Any more questions, guys? Questions, comments, concerns? Wow, we've been doing a Q&A for 2.5 hours, y'all.
That's crazy.
It feels like it's been like 15 minutes. Is it just me?
No, it felt like an hour.
Oh, fuck. Come on. Really? Oh, that's good.
What I thought.
That's still good because we're 2.5 hours in.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions, guys? If not, then we probably should bid you adieu, and I should probably feed Cody because one of the reasons he was up here so often was because he's like, dude, it's lunchtime. What the fuck? It's not because he loves his daddy. It's because he wants his fucking lunch. And I got to eat lunch too, by the way, because it's 2:30 past lunchtime, I might add. But you guys are worth it. I had a good time. I hope you guys had a good time. We have to do these Q&As more often, and I'm sure we can come up with all kinds of controversial shit to talk about that'll be super fun. They got it. Do you want do you want lunch? Mm-hmm. I think he's telling me. You want lunch? What was that? What was that? All right, guys. It was great talking to you. If there are no more questions, then I think I will adjourn for today and wish you a very good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are. Peace, love, and reason to all of you. Bye, guys.